Okay, I wanted to start off with like a really important. Some people have asked me about my depersonalization derealization video, and I wanted to start off on something that is not super obvious if you have depersonalization derealization disorder, and that is media. This disorder is really, really, really strange in that it is so affected by how you think about it. If you think you're going to get over it, you start to gain confidence, and you and I think that that's a big part of actually healing. I mean, there's this idea that it's somehow this order of how it affects your mind is somehow different than like it's like a chemical thing. What doesn't matter what type of media you put into your head. I can tell you for a fact that is completely wrong because I think one of the biggest mistakes that I made with depersonalization derealization disorder. And first of all, I want to say none of these comments. I'm not a doctor. I can only tell you my own personal experience, and your experience with this disorder might be vastly different than mine. But I had it for 6 or 7 months, and I got through it, and I got over it. And I just want to tell you the things that helped me. So when I first started this, I made probably about the biggest mistake you can make, which is I researched everything about it. I spent all this time on the internet. I wasn't even sure I had it at first. So I spent all this time researching and like, oh, do I have this? Is this it? I kind of knew I had depersonalization derealization disorder, but that is strangely, I think, one of the things that really kicked it into overdrive was that research. When you research it, and I think that the story, the narrative that you're going to need in your head is that you're going to get over it. And over a period of time, I think that narrative worked for me. I remember one day I ran across a really good piece of advice. And that piece of advice was read the success stories. Don't run around trying to find the horror stories. I think the vast, vast, vast majority of people that get depersonalization, derealization disorder get over it, either quickly or within, a certain period of time. And when you run around and you're always looking for the worst case scenario, this disorder has a lot to do with anxiety. And if you're constantly looking for the worst case scenario, that narrative in your head of what's going to happen to you with this disorder just starts getting darker and darker and darker. And that's probably about the worst thing that you can do. Instead, look at success stories. Listen to the people that got through it, why they did, and I think that starts to create the narrative in your mind as you envision your future. You see yourself getting past this, and you start looking past it too. And I think that is really, really important. If you can freak yourself out with bad information, I've done that to myself, and the reason that this comes up today is because I think I did this to my mom today. My mom is not somebody who can handle um, uh, bad information. She has to. I don't know what it is. She's a wonderful person, incredibly intelligent, tries really hard, but she really needs to live in a world where she controls that narrative. That she is a person who needs the positive view of the world. And it brought me back to thinking about when I had depersonalization derealization disorder. And to that end, the number one place that I went was the DPDR form called Success Stories. That was always uplifting to hear the people that got over it, and also how they got over it. I got a lot of great stuff out of that form. I got that I should be doing Zazen, meditation. I learned that in that form. I learned about some great books. I learned about The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle, great book. And it really feels like, especially when you have anxiety, you can really feel like what he was talking about. And I don't think I would have related to that book at all if I hadn't had depersonalization derealization disorder. There's a guy, Noah, I think it's um, that does a lot of depersonalization disorder videos. Those are good. Um, Anybody that's telling you how they went through it and got out of it, and and I don't know why that is so important, that keeping that narrative, but the narrative in your mind of how you perceive your future and how you perceive what is happening to you is extremely important when you have a mental illness like depersonalization derealization disorder. So I wanted to basically tell you that the media is what you're going to need, and you just have to avoid the just trying to look stuff up, uh, just randomly looking things up and trying to, constantly like self-diagnose and all the rest of that. It's not going to do you any good. You're going to end up, obsessing. You have an obsessive disorder, and you just put into your mind a new obsession about the thing, and you're just creating this big circular. It's a big cycle. It's a big wheel you don't want to be on. So again, depersonalization disorder. My heart goes out to anybody out there that has depersonalization derealization disorder. I know how painful and uncomfortable that is. I know, and but I'm going to tell you this, and here's my little my like ray of light that I'm going to tell you. I didn't just get over depersonalization derealization disorder. I'm a happier person after depersonalization. Like, I actually got a lot out of having the disorder, because it really honestly changed. My mind is so different than it was before this disorder. I'm calmer. I enjoy life more. I'm more like in the moment. And I think the only way I was ever going to get to that improved state, I mean, I still have, um, I might feel like a little bit of depression or something here or there. But I can tell you, before that disorder, it would be extremely rare that I could sleep through an entire night. After having that disorder for 4 years, I sleep great. I have wonderful. I sleep so well, and it also improved a lot of other things. I mean, I'm really on top of the exercise. My diet's better. I mean, you have to deal with a lot of something when you're dealing with something as extreme as depersonalization derealization disorder that requires a lot of. I would almost describe it as you got to be disciplined in how you do it. You got to be a hero. That's key. My dad, or I've heard people say this. I think actually, some of my heroes like Jocko Wiltnick, you got to approach stuff as a hero. If you have a problem, there's only two possible options. One option is to feel sorry for yourself. I'm a victim. Oh my God, this happened to me. And the other option is, this is a challenge. Let's go at it. Let me at it. That option is way better than the victim option. Even if I knew my life was going to turn out horribly, now, I mean, from maybe I'm going to go broke, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that, I'm going to enjoy that whole experience much more. I'm planning on, if something happens to me, I am going to go down fighting every single day, because that mentality, I feel like, gives you a better life. It just does. And anyway, I want to tell all the people out there that when you get past this disorder, and you will get past this disorder, you're going to find out that your life improved a lot. You are going to be a happier person inside your own head.